Welcome back, everybody, to Mr. Christiano Reads. Today, I'm going to finish up Captain Underpants and the invasion of the incredible, naughty Cafeteria ladies from outer space. So if you remember where we left off from yesterday, the boys, George and Harold, and Principal Crop, or should I say Captain Underpants, had escaped from the school using the spaceship that the aliens had landed on the school with. They escaped, but then the aliens put them in a cage, and then they took off, and they were like, we're going to watch you. You're going to watch the witness the Earth exploding. But then the boys played a trick. They switched the containers, the names on the containers, and on the different drinks, and the spaceship ended up crashing, and the boys and Captain Underpants escaped, and they jumped out, and they're floating down now thanks to the nylon cape that Captain Underpants was wearing. So let's see what happens with the rest of the story here. We're going to read chapters 21 through 25 today. So here we go. Chapter 21, the delirious, dangerous, death-defying dandelion of doom. George, Harold, and Captain Underpants floated downward directly into the waiting jaws of the dandelion of doom. "Oh, man," cried Harold. "We could have gotten killed in a cool exploding spaceship, but instead we're going to get eaten by a dandelion. How humiliating." "Yeah," George moaned. "People are going to be giggling at our funerals." The dandelion munched Captain Underpants and swung George and Harold around like a couple of rag dolls. The boys flew off and landed on the roof of the school. "Help me!" screamed Captain Underpants as the dandelion of doom swung him back and forth. "What should we do?" cried Harold. "I've got an idea," said George. "It's a bad idea, and I know we're going to regret it, but we've got to act fast. The fate of the entire planet is in our hands." The next time the giant evil dandelion lurched toward the boys, George poured some extra strength superpower juice into Captain Underpants' mouth. "What do you think is going to happen now?" asked Harold. "I don't know," said George, "but I have a feeling it's going to involve incredibly graphic violence." So there you have it, the end of chapter 21. So the boys have poured some extra strength power juice in Captain Underpants' mouth. Let's see what happens. Chapter 22, the incredibly graphic violent chapter, part 2. When dandelions attack. Uh-oh, looks like Captain Underpants is escaping. The wedgie weed whacker. Kicked him in the nose. Hooray for Captain Underpants. Uh-oh, looks like he's got him by the stem. Strangled him out. Chapter 23. The 23rd chapter. Captain Underpants, with the help of his newly developed superpowers, had defeated the deliriously dangerous, death-defying dandelion of doom. Now, the only thing left to do was to stop the evil zombie nerds. Oh, how are we going to conquer the evil zombie nerds? Asked George. How will we ever change them back to normal? Well, we could try this anti-evil zombie nerd juice, said Harold. George rolled his eyes. I was hoping for something a little more dramatic, he said, but we're running out of pages. Let's do it. So Harold mixed up a batch of anti-evil zombie nerd root beer and ordered everybody in school to drink some. The evil zombie nerds lined up. Must drink root beer, they moaned. Must drink root beer. When the last zombie nerd had swallowed the last sip of root beer, George ordered Captain Underpants to get dressed back up like Mr. Capt. But I'll lose my superpowers if I put on clothing, said Captain Underpants. The power of underwear must be... Just put the clothes on, bub, George instructed. Captain Underpants did as he was told, and then George poured water over the hero's head. Now all we can do is wait, said Harold. Wait and hope that everybody returns to normal. End of chapter 23. Chapter 24. To make a long story short, they did. Oh, these boys. Looks like Mr. Capt is a little wet on the head there. Chapter 25. Back to normal. Hooray, said Harold. It's great to have everybody back to normal. Yup, said George. That's for sure. But back to normal probably wasn't the best choice of words. For while the students and faculty were the same as they'd always been, something had definitely changed about Mr. Capt. Because from that day on, whenever he heard the sound of fingers snapping, snap, Mr. Capt not only turned back into you-know-who, but he also had extra strength superpowers. And if you thought it was hard for George and Harold to keep up with him before, well, you ain't seen nothing yet. Oh no, screamed Harold. Here we go again, screamed George. Tra-la-la! And there you have it, folks. The conclusion to Captain Underpants and the invasion of the incredibly naughty cafeteria ladies from outer space and the subsequent assault of the equally evil lunchroom zombie nerds. Wow. The boys really got themselves into it that time. What a great story. You know, from them fighting off the zombies to the zombies turning the kids into zombie nerds, or to the aliens turning the kids into zombie nerds, to the boys and Captain Underpants fighting off the aliens and then fighting off the Dandelion of Doom. Ah, what a great story. So I hope you guys will return for the next book. I'm going to be reading the next in the series of Captain Underpants. So it's been a fun series, and I like what the boys are doing with Mr. Capt and Captain Underpants. So we'll see you. All right, have a great day, and see you the next time. Have a good one. Bye.